Pleasure to be joined by the voice of Sunday's Nickelodeon broadcast of Super Bowl 58. Noah Eagle graduated from Newhouse in 2019. Ahead of your first Super Bowl, how are you feeling?
Pretty surreal. I mean, I think that I always envisioned that when I called my first Super Bowl, I would be slimed. That was just, no. I had no idea that this was ever even possible. I don't think anybody ever thought that a Super Bowl and slime and SpongeBob and Patrick would all go together, but I'm really thankful that it is, and I think I'm ready to go. I'm ready to let it fly.
How different is the preparation for this game than the other Nickelodeon games you've done?
No. From the other Nickelodeon games, it's pretty similar. I think that you always got to learn the teams, at least on a basic level, right? You've got to have an outline on what you're going to expect to see on the field. But the main thing that I'm looking at is references and stories and things that I can set up for SpongeBob and Patrick to really shine in this broadcast. And then thinking about, all right, if certain situations within the game happen, how are we going to explain that to kids? So all that remains the same in terms of all the Nickelodeon games we've done. The best thing for me is that I actually have more people to talk with. Now, most people, and I always used to make this joke about when I did the Clippers on radio by myself, I would say, I get to talk to myself. Most people get labeled as clinically insane. I got paid. In this case, I get to talk to cartoon characters, which I'd be in an insane asylum if I just said, I'm talking to SpongeBob. But here, I'm getting paid and I get to do it at the Super Bowl. It's pretty cool.
Is there any professional or student experience you had that prepared you most for these Nickelodeon games, or is it kind of everything into one?
Yeah, Keith Colbin's class is probably at the top of the list. No. It was high on there, though. No, I would say that everything I did was big, and I got really lucky that I got to do so many different things, and you guys know it. You guys have been taking advantage of everything while you're in Central New York, but it was the all-encompassing aspect, because I feel like what this broadcast forces me to do, it forces me to exercise different muscles, all the different muscles. So I got a play-by-play hat on, then I've got to be a host at one point, then I've got to be basically a secondary analyst in some points to help explain things along with Nate Burleson, then I've got to be a game show host at some point. So everything I did, and I actually did host a game show.
I was going to say, do you have any game show hosting experience?
Game show at Syracuse. It's no longer running, unfortunately. Either they couldn't do it without me, or they just ran out of funding. Most likely the second, but in my head, I like to think it's the first. But Double Down was on WCNY for a long time. I hosted it my junior and senior years. You can still find the episodes online. Cooperstown was an absolute train. You could not get through Cooperstown. They were so dominant in that game.
You mentioned having a list of references that'll work for the audience. What specifically about the Chiefs or the 49ers have you started preparing that you might break out on Sunday?
Look, yeah, I think that it's going to just be overarching. More than anything, I just want to make sure I have the overall SpongeBob classics, because we've got SpongeBob and Patrick there, and I grew up watching the show, as almost everybody did, and so I know, I've used this before, but I can use this again of, when you guys go jellyfishing, you bring all reliable because you feel the best that way. Well, Patrick Mahomes is all reliable as Travis Kelce. He's the same thing. It makes him feel comfortable on the field. Stuff like that, right? So we're going to have a lot of that, and I'm excited. The Krabby Patty will have references there. The Plankton trying to steal the secret formula. It's like the defense trying to take the ball away from the offense. We've got a lot of that stuff, so we'll unleash all of it.
How do you incorporate the spectacle of Las Vegas into a broadcast that is tailored for kids on Sunday?
Yeah, well, we're going to teach kids what plus money and minus money is. We're going to tell them what giving points mean. No, we're not going to do any of that. The good thing for us is that the Super Bowl in our world is actually happening in Bikini Bottom. So Vegas is a secondary thought for us. It's more of, hey, what's going on in the Krusty Krab down the street? Why can't Squidward get into the game right now? And most importantly, most specifically of what I'm looking forward to, we've got Sweet Victory to start the broadcast, which the amount of times, the amount of people, and a lot of them are my classmates, you know who you are, that have asked me from the first broadcast we did on Nickelodeon, where was Sweet Victory? Why didn't we get Sweet Victory? The amount of times I've heard that, you know what right now, because you're going to get it to start this broadcast, and it is going to deliver on top of deliver. It's going to be like Jimmy John's Freaky Fast delivery. I don't care. It's going to be perfect, and it's going to set the tone for our entire day.
That's a Noah Eagle guarantee right there.
Well, I don't know if I can go full Charles Barkley, but I can guarantee that you're going to enjoy yourself.
Noah, if there's something specific to this football game that you've watched through the entire NFL season, maybe away from the Nickelodeon, away from Bikini Bottom, what are you looking out for?
Well, I really love the matchup in a variety of aspects, but one of my favorite things that I feel like we're getting out of this. So Tom Brady just retired. As someone who unfortunately grew up as a Jets fan, that was probably for the best to stop causing some kind of pain in my life. But as someone who's now given up most of the fandom and seeing it from an overall just general lens of football and NFL, we lost what was the GOAT in all of NFL and certainly quarterback play. And I look at him as having almost 3 careers in one Hall of Fame career, 3 Hall of Fame careers in one. The first part where he was an underdog, 199th pick, cast aside, he goes in for an injured star quarterback and he wins a Super Bowl. The second one where he was the MVP of the league, controlling everything and just beating everybody and being better than. And then the last one where he was just smarting. He was outsmarting everybody else in the NFL, and he was still the top of the line. So it was 3 different stages almost. And I feel like we've got the first stage taken care of with Brock Purdy, and we've got kind of a hybrid of both of the last 2 stages taken care of with Patrick Mahomes, who's doing it at a younger age than Brady ever did. So it's almost these 2 marriages going together and going head to head. That's what I'm really excited about. Chiefs defense is the best that Mahomes has ever had. Niners defense is one of the best I've ever seen over the last however long, 5+ years. And the weapons on both sides, the personalities on both sides. I think it's really fun for everybody involved. And then you add in Taylor Swift, and it's the perfect storm.
That's exactly where I was going to go to close things up. We hadn't mentioned the biggest star of the show yet. What are you excited about Taylor? What's your favorite Taylor song? How big of a fan are you?
Well, I did feel like if she didn't make it all the way here, it would have been a cruel summer for all of us, and that would have been tough. But now it's like, look what you made me do. You made me get really ready for this game, get really excited. I knew we'd all be trouble when we walked in. I've got every possible reference, guys, every possible one. All right, if you want to tune in and count all of them, I dare you to do so. Please do. No, it's great. I think it's great because it's similar to what we're doing for Nickelodeon. What she's done is she's invited a whole new audience to the NFL, a whole new audience to football, and created this entire and cultivated this entire new fan base of football fans. So I think it's really cool, and it kind of blends really well with our broadcast. The best thing for us was we had the Chiefs on Christmas Day as well, and she was at that game. So we've already been tailored all the way out, but this is tailor-made to make it happen again.
Well, we'll see who has a love story with the Lombardi Trophy on Sunday. Noah, can't thank you enough for your time, and good luck.
Pleasure. This was great. You guys are the best.